The moment you knew it went official and Doug made the decision, he probably told you directly. It must have been two-sided for you. So very excited to take on the opportunity, but also, I mean, you and Pete had the long-term, friendship and relationship. How did all that go as you look back on it a couple months ago?
Yeah, I think that I remember it was we played Nashville the night before, and we flew back the next day, and I actually dropped Pete off. He needed a ride from the airport, and we were talking, and Pete's a pretty realistic guy, and he says something's got to give here. Something's got to change. We're in a rut, whether it's a coaching change or a trade or something like that. I think we were all well aware that things were not going very well, and in our business that's what happens. And within 20 minutes of me getting in and unpacking from the road trip, I got the call from Doug that he was making a coaching change. And yeah, very somber because not only Pete, but Steve Spott, Dave Barr, and Johan Hedberg, all great friends of mine. And we had such a tight relationship. It was sad to see those guys having to, change their life that second. And also exciting for me getting a chance. And a lot of unknowns. At that point in time when Doug called, I didn't know what my staff would be, where, how would we pick up the pieces. And so it was a day full of drama and mixed emotions for sure.
From that day, I think it was December 11th, to what turned out to be the last game of the season, right around March 11th, you could look at the results and maybe the wins and losses and the points percentage didn't change a whole lot, but I also have to say your team went through so much adversity even after you took over as coach, the trade deadline, some injuries, some other things going on. I'll say this, if you watched the games, I think it looked like a different Sharks team and the things you were able to implement. Can you pinpoint what exactly you saw as being different or improved from the time you took over?
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because I think it is very easily just people that weren't into the Sharks and watching those games, and there was a lot of change. There was a ton of change, and in the style of play, and we just basically we wanted to switch some things around to not be so predictable. And I thought, if anything, and this is no knock to Pete. I mean, he has had success wherever he's gone in his coaching, and he's an amazing coach. But the team played the same way for 4 or 5 years, and I think the players were probably looking for a little bit of a change as well. And we wanted just to change our attack, our offensive game a little bit. We wanted to be more below the tops of the circles, and we wanted to be making plays where we're hitting open guys in scoring areas. And not so predictable in what we were doing before. I think we changed our forecheck a little bit. Obviously, we tightened up our D zone. We didn't give up as much off the rush, which helped our goalies improve their games. We just tightened things up defensively. Basically, on the offensive side of the puck, we changed some things so we weren't so predictable. That was the two major things, and the players did respond. And analytically, we showed a lot of improvement in a lot of areas. But as you said, through our injuries of some key players, the deadline, trade deadline of letting go a few players, it was tough to, we had a lot of new faces in our lineup the second half of the season. It was great from a standpoint of a lot of young guys getting chances. And we got to see a lot out of these young guys for this upcoming year. So a lot of good things were happening behind the scenes. Maybe didn't get noticed in the standings, but we feel good about where we left off and some of the things that we, that we put in place, and we know we can have success from moving forward.